Hello everyone and welcome to the second episode of our Sylius story. With me today is
Mateusz
and
Łukasz.
My name is Tim and we are from Commerce Weavers. We are former Sylius core team members and we would like to tell you more about our history with this wonderful framework. In the first episode we finished in 2018 and maybe you got a little bit bored with the history year after year, but in general the switch that we are making today is about entering the commercial business, because 2019 is the year where Sylius opened at least 3 business lines. I think we can safely say it. And one of the major, I think to this date, the key business line for Sylius is the licensing part. So selling the Sylius Plus license, which was created this very year. Guys, do you remember the first moment or maybe the brainstorm when we got to the point where we realized that we don't actually sell any license?
We realized we have no money.
Yeah, we actually hired an external sales consultant here in Poland, and the guy basically told us that we are a consulting and training company, because this is what you can do when you have the open source business model. Basically, it was not like a big discovery. Like if you watch Magento, PrestaShop, even WooCommerce, all of the big open source e-commerce platforms, they have some paid license. So the commercial edition was there, and I remember that we actually had this very first phone call to the company from Germany that agreed to the 5 years license. And it was my first sales conversation like this ever, selling a license. And the guy like immediately agreed, and he said that the whole board agreed, everybody is on the same page, and they never signed. So the beginning was not very easy. But this company still uses Sylius, so maybe one day we're gonna collaborate again.
What was this company when I was on the training in?
Yeah, in Germany.
Yeah. Together with Pavel.
Yeah. They sell motor parts, automotive.
Coming a little bit into the previous part that you said, I would personally say that it was quite impressive that we managed to live for a long time without any products. I remember when I was doing already a lot of training sessions, and people were keep asking me what Sylius is making money of, because you are open source.
Exactly.
So what is your revenue? And we were always like consultancy training sessions. We already didn't do any projects based on Sylius. So it was I would say it was quite impressive that we didn't need a paid project, a paid version of Sylius for a long time. But the time comes.
Okay, so we have a license, but then there was another missing part in the ecosystem. So there were no plugins. I mean, there were plugins on packages. You can find them. You could also find them on GitHub, but there was nothing like a marketplace of extensions. So Sylius Store was created, and I think you were responsible for creating it. Can you share some memories from this?
I remember that it was a pain in the back for a long time, because we knew that it is needed, and we knew that it's expected from the community that we will have some kind of a single source of plugins when you can you can take a look at the marketplace and say, okay, so these are the plugins that are recommended by Sylius or approved by Sylius, that we know that they have a good quality, that are working properly. It was also a good opportunity to start selling some plugins as paid plugins. It wasn't a huge part of our revenue ever, but we actually had the opportunity to actually use Sylius to sell some Sylius extensions if we wanted to.
Wasn't even the first store built on WooCommerce?
So the first version of Sylius, the first version of Sylius Store was built on WooCommerce. We didn't want to use Sylius because we
the one that you helped fill.
That you helped fill with like a lot of the plugins that were not tested by me.
Was it done by Shimon? Like it was an extension to our WordPress page. Okay.
And it was
almost there.
And it was a mess. And it was totally a total mess. And at this part of the history, we also had a pretty high standards regarding letting plugins into the Sylius Store. And we had to, unfortunately, lower them a lot during the time, because we started with having this need to have every Sylius plugin present the same value as we would code it. But we knew that we have a really high quality standards in Sylius, and we knew that not everyone is coding like us, not everyone is testing like us. So it was almost impossible to let at least almost any plugin into the store. So we had to lower this bar a little bit, just to extend this list of plugins that we could have.
And you had to create a plugin development guide to
because there was no such thing, and people in theory knew how to create plugin, but in practice there was no guide, no lead how to do it.
One lesson learned from that period is that we never actually automate the process of.
We didn't. We wanted to do it. There was a few attempts for that, but on this time we didn't. It was the time when we didn't even have the recipes on Symfony.
Was it Symfony Flex even a thing?
It wasn't. It was at the very beginning. Yeah. It wasn't a thing. Like it was not released yet, so we couldn't automatize installation of the plugins, and because of that, we couldn't automatize somehow the review of the plugins, because we could potentially do that if we expect from every plugin to be tested in a way, but at the end, not every plugin was tested, and some of them were valuable addition to the ecosystem, but were not tested properly. So how to automatize this review? Like it was always done manually, and because of that, it was always done very
ugly.
But sometimes team help us with that.
There was one moment that you got angry and just threw tens of plugins into the store.
I mean, I'm sorry, but it's like, you always have to measure the business value and the, let's say, the technical level that you want to keep. And of course, I broke this level because I wanted, the potential Sylius customers and users to see the source of truth, no matter if this plugin was tested or good quality. I just wanted people to know it exists.
But most of these plugins were not even working.
Yeah, and I think it's a problem to this date.
Yet it is in the core the problem of technical debt. So business decided that we will release something if it's unfinished, it doesn't work correctly, and we'll just take a technical debt just to show that there are so many other things in our ecosystem. So to attract more business, once they will realize that there is a debt and actually the debt is piling up, then we'll maybe figure it out how to pay it off.
Yeah. You just add a badge that it's approved, and other than that, if it's not approved, then we don't give any,
and we finished with that approach because we wanted to have this approved by Sylius, and the initial idea is to give it only to the plugins that were like, this is our quality. We would do it like something like this, but there was not so many plugins of that we could approve in this way.
Do you know how many plugins are there right now? In the whole Sylius
200, 300.
620 are available on packages, and I think Sylius Store is
Sylius community.
Yeah, Sylius Store is lagging behind. I think maybe have around 500, but
Okay, so the data is from packages directly.
Yeah.
So 620.
Half of them is abandoned, probably. Yeah.
All the community created all 620 plugins throughout the years. Probably about 50 of them, 10% of that is somehow
usable. Yeah. And it's always a sales problem. I mean, you want to show your customer that there's plenty of features and integrations, and it's a little bit, I don't know, immoral maybe, because you kind of lie to the customer that there is an integration, but it doesn't work. So why tell the customer that it is there? It's a problem for another.
This is the problem.
Discussion.
We always had this higher moral standards, and we didn't want to pretend that something doesn't exist. Yeah, we wanted to be sure that what you find in the Sylius Store will be something that will be valuable addition to your application.
But now, where there is a lie, if we wrote that everything was checked by us and it will work, if there is any statement, then we lied.
Yeah. Yes, but
what is the promise?
The problem is that there is it's expected that if something is in the store, then probably it should work. Yeah. So that's the problem. So it is not lie. It is something like morally gray.
Yes, it can be some kind of manipulation. I'll just based on experience, I wouldn't expect things in the store like that with open access to be always checked,
because people are used to have this low quality. Like if you go
on the other hand, it's not open access. It's not like we're just getting the things from it wasn't that day that we're getting things from the packages. We were at least accepting them in the admin panel, that we accept that something like this will show in our Sylius Store.
I mean, we wanted to beat the quality of other platforms, but eventually it's not possible if you have this big open source community. Because if you compare PrestaShop or Magento, they have thousands of plugins in their stores, and exactly like the same, 80% are not useful. So I think, the communication and how you approve them, it's crucial. Okay, guys, and the third business line, Sylius Online Course. And Mateusz, you were you were also responsible. Yeah, it was a great story. I mean, hence the laugh. Do you remember? You were a bit like Harry Potter, but you were close in the cork-podded storage, and you were just recording this for ages.
That was kind of an adventure, really, because we wanted to create this Sylius course, and it was like the timing was really good because we finished it at the end of the 2019, and at the beginning of 2020 the pandemic struck. So the timing was good, but the process of creating it that was just
crazy.
It was one of the I think I can say that was one of the worst experiences that I have ever had, because I had no idea how to create the online course, totally no idea, and I just wanted to do the training session that I usually do, and just record it, and that's all. But it's not the way how you should do that, because the process resulted in that I'm in the storage in our office or in my apartment, because I was also recording sometime in my apartment, and I was like sitting in front of computer for 3-4 hours and recording everything that I do. And it's not the thing that you should do. Like, this is not how it should look like. And it was very depressing for me, because I was just, usually when I do the training session, I talk to people and people respond to me. But on this way, it was like no one that wanted to respond to me. I was repeating all the time the lines that I do if I do any mistake. It was no addition after all.
It's a great story, but it didn't matter from the business perspective. It actually helped Sylius grow a lot, I guess. And there are, I think, already dozens of maybe even hundreds who
at least hundreds.
Hundreds of developers who, you should be buying the course per seat, but I know a lot of people were just buying for the whole company. So
I think that there were hundreds of them sold altogether.
Yeah.
After all these years, it was 2019 that we did it.
And do you remember that at the beginning we didn't sell it by Sylius Store? We were selling it by some other platform.
We started with Eventbrite. Yeah, that was I think. It's a good business story, because what you take from the market, you take the ready-to-use solutions, right? Even if they take big fee from you, it was the easiest way to go. So I just used Eventbrite, even though it's for events, not for online courses, but people could buy it. So that was cool. But I think you have a little bit in you from Harry Potter. But you have glasses. You were close in a very small room for many hours. You were provided with food.
Was it you that you were locked there in because of the foam that we put on the door?
Yeah, you got locked.
Able to open the door.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was fun experience.
And we have 2025. So for 5 consecutive years, it was in use. And this year it was
replaced by new.
Yeah, and it's very good because Gracian did a great work. But for many years, a lot of people all over the world could learn.
Yeah, so at the end, the result was good because a lot of people could learn from us without the need to buy the training sessions from us. So that was a good thing. But it was surprisingly overwhelming during the process, but the result was really good.
I remember recording the short that was the invitation to the course, like a pre-sale. And we have to put it here in the post-production because it's wonderful.
Hello everyone, this is Mateusz, Sylius Academy Lead. I'm happy to invite you to the first online Sylius video course. Within just 8 hours you will learn fundamentals of Sylius or structural knowledge about our platform. Forget about legacy platforms. Enjoy being an e-commerce developer again. Register now and see you online.
Every time I quote, within just 8 hours, you will learn everything you got to know about Sylius. This is Mateusz. I love this voice. Okay, about the office atmosphere, about this storage, about everything that was there. I mean, storage was just a small part, but there was another great part of this house, because we were actually renting a house on the suburbs of Łódź, our city, our hometown, and there was literally like a British backyard where we could barbecue, launch some parties, have meetings, watch football games, everything. So. And also the chess. Do you remember the chess? The chess were always there. We were playing like every dinner, every break. We had this Soviet clock.
We had it since the first office on the Wilno Park.
Yeah, right.
It was even before.
It was even before, yeah.
We in purpose bought this Soviet era clock, and it was traveling with us through all the offices.
Yeah, but the only problem of this, I mean, I love this home atmosphere. We were meeting like in the kitchen, like for every coffee break, and I think this is massively missing, like after this COVID era where everybody is working remotely. But there was one tiny problem of this house. We started selling the big Sylius Plus licenses, like 50K a year or more, and some customers wanted to visit us, and it was suburbs, so. When you Googled Sylius, you could see like just the house, and people were doubting if we are a real company. I remember proving over and over again that there is a real company inside this house providing real business.
Startup vibe with the garage.
Yeah, and we actually had a friend who were
repairing the car.
Yeah, he was fixing his car in the garage.
For over a year.
Yeah.
He was doing 2 shifts during a day, a programmer during the mechanic.
Yeah. I actually miss these times a lot. It was a really great experience. Okay, 2020 and pandemic stroke, and I think this is going a little bit sad, like a little bit, massively sad for everyone. We got locked at home, everyone.
I would start with the idea that it was quite ironic that we started to grow the team quite extensively.
Yeah.
So we hired like 4-6 people. 2 of them we brought from outside of Łódź to move to Łódź.
Yeah.
And they just moved at the 1st of March or the first day of lockdown. Yeah. They moved to Łódź and they started in the new city without any friend, in the new environment, without possibility to even leave the house.
True that, but they stayed with us throughout the whole pandemic, I guess, for at least 2 or 3 years. And then I remember, was it you or Kamil who was still in France in February? Just like few days before the whole airports were closed, providing the training and the meetup in Lyon. There was somebody from our team. I'm not sure if it was you. Maybe it was Kamil.
I had similar story with Germany and Oldenburg. So I was in Reply. I was doing the training there
for the agency. Yeah.
And it was like I was traveling on 28th of February, and I was already feeling the COVID form that they will contact me if anyone had the COVID in the plane.
Okay.
And like the next day or a few days more, it was a full lockdown. So that was my last trip before the lockdown.
Yeah, crazy times. Okay, but from the business and technological perspective, there was a big decision made, and actually you were responsible, Łukasz. And I think many developers hate you to this day for this decision. Some of them love you, but many. I mean, it's a controversial thing. I'm speaking about API platform. Can you elaborate?
So the problem is that over the years, and now we are moving back to like 2014-15, we started to have this idea of Sylius that you have application and different way how to interact with. So infrastructure was like, to some extent, side concept to the core logic. But back in the 2014, we had this Postgres bundle, which allowed us to have admin REST bundle, something like that. And it was maintained over the years. It was like detached with 2.0. Like we detached it a few years earlier, but we tried to maintain it, something like that. Anyway, then there was a problem how you operate with that, and it wasn't really suitable for the shop perspective because we could just do anything with the store, and we need to have something more granular. So there was creation of the shop API plugin. It was like 2018 or something like that. I'm not sure if it was in the first part, but it all leads to the problem that in 2020 we had the problem that so we have admin REST API which is not maintained properly and people have problems with it. Then we have shop API plugin which is some progress, some movement into direction that we want to achieve, but yet it has its own merits. And now we need to integrate Sylius Plus with API. And the question arises, in which manner? Do we do it in admin REST bundle way, shop API plugin that we already know that there are some things to improve? Or should we do another approach that will unify it among the platforms?
So we think Sylius Plus was like the last factor to actually make you.
It was not condensator but catalysator of the decision.
So
for sure.
How to like with what kind of API we should cover the premium part of Sylius?
We need to do more of it. Now the question is how, because we don't want to do any of the two, and that was like a blocker. So we had to figure it out quickly how to do it. Therefore, 2020 we started something that finished at the end of 2024. 4 years of migration. Great job, folks. Great job.
Yeah. Congratulate everyone who participated, who contributed, and I think greetings to our friends from Lille and to the API platform core team. You are wonderful people, guys. You helped us a lot. We have made a great relationship, but yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, wow. I think it's to this day, it's the biggest open source commercial integration between API platform.
For sure, there are some problems of that integration because API platform was never meant to be used that way. It was at the beginning really easy because both platforms use the same architecture decisions, or actually was based on the same fundamentals. Right. So the fundamentals was the same. That's why it was quite easy to merge it together. However, API platform was not yet prepared to handle the level of extendability that we have in Sylius, which was quite hard to, or at least we wasn't aware of the problem of that. And it even started also a year before. I visited LTL in Lille, actually learn a little bit about API platform, if I recall correctly, get familiar with it. And it was, okay, so it would be nice to have it, but then let's not waste time for that. And a year later, it was like, oh, so actually we can waste time for that. Let's do it. That was more or less how we end up in the situation, because the point was how we should develop it. Then there was the decision in which way, but also in what flavor should we do it, REST or Graph. That was also another...
that was a big discussion.
Another big discussion because in 2020 there was a hype GraphQL development.
Right.
Every major platform should have GraphQL. It was really tempting to do so. But however, after the long research, we decided for REST, and actually that decision actually pays off pretty well.
To this date, yeah. And this is like, long story short, that Sylius has finally a very standardized, stable API solution, which is not so obvious if you have a look on other platforms. And 2020 was also the year when we sold like one of the biggest, I think to this date, Sylius Plus license to Mighty Risa, which is public, so we can speak about it. Very, very big luxury fashion company. And it was like, you know, for every e-commerce company back then, it was easy to grow because like everyone wanted to do e-commerce suddenly. People were doing decisions, before it took like years to have a decision. During pandemics, within a few weeks, there was a big decision about implementing some, very, very big budget store and a new technology. So we obviously benefited from it. It was also a year to sign a partnership with PayPal or Molly, so like big fintechs who help Sylius grow as well. So like every customer, every partnership from this COVID time, we're actually, making what Sylius is today in terms of business. So I also remember the time that we kind of changed, myself at least, we changed into workaholics because it was difficult to divide, the office and the home spheres anymore.
Yeah, because we had this office that was a home, and we had it was just connected together. Like I really felt like, I think that we can say that we all felt like it was some kind of the second home for all of us, not like a second home. The work is my second home, but like the office was had such a good
vibe.
Home vibe. Yeah. With every party that we had there, with every hours that we spent there on working, but also on playing together and having any barbecue, like a lot of really nice memories from that.
We played plenty of times some board games. Was it also the year that we had the French Erasmus student? 2020?
Not sure. I think later.
I think it was later, but I don't remember.
It was something about...
Anyway, let's go to 2021. That was the year when we hired the first person from abroad. And I think I'm speaking about Kevin Besad. So like a countryman. Okay, let's move on to 2021. It was the year where Sylius actually surpassed 1 million installs. So a big year for Sylius, and also a big year for us because we decided to open the first abroad office. I mean, it was just one guy, Kevin Besad. Man, I love you to this day. Thank you for everything you did. That was like a single orchestra. This guy was just selling like crazy. Like every license sold in France, every partnership was thanks to Kevin. And we could do this big announcement that Sylius is growing in the other country. From the tech part, apart from this 1 million installs, I think Sylius Plus was consistently growing in features. Other than that, I don't remember.
We were working on the API platform.
Yeah, and the API platform, because you killed the morale of the Sylius dev team for like 4 years, and just developing APIs, right?
And that's also not, but that's not entirely true.
It was necessary, man.
It's not my point. We are always saying that it took 4 years, but in the meantime, it's not 4 years only for that.
Yeah,
it was also for the migration of the full Plus, which was not supported before.
Yeah.
So we developed a whole new structure. Plus we developed new features. Every quarter there was a break in AP platform migration just to add a new feature. So of course it took 4 years, but if you sum up, it would took like 2. It doesn't mean that it's short.
No, 2 years. Okay, yeah.
Sylius never had like a big dev team. This is also very important to say that it was all done within like 20-25 people maximum.
Did we ever had 25?
We had 25 at the I think in 2022, which we're going to. But you know, if you count developers only, I think the team was 10 to 15 maybe maximum. Just development team.
Did we have?
I think yeah, there was.
We never reached 15, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, if you count project manager and product owner and all the developers and you guys, obviously, I think it was around 10. So what you see today is developed by 10 people. I mean, of course, the squad is changing year after year. Different people work at Sylius, but I think today also there is around 10 people in the dev team providing so much value, which is actually quite phenomenal. Okay, 2022, a big year. No.
Speaking of 2021, I would like to shout out to Clemens, which she was the student from France that she just learned about us in French community that there is a Sylius. She also just asked to be to work with us for the quarter. It was 2021, I think.
Yeah.
From what Mateusz checked, it's correct. So it is also, even though for you it was a big year that we open office in France, for me it was also like quite significant that someone somewhere in different country found out the company in Łódź, in some suburbs, as we already said, has influence enough that someone was willing to travel from France to Łódź to work with us. So
that should have been quite of an adventure for her, and it was really nice adventure for us as well. And I think that Clemens is still working with Sylius. I think that I saw her on Sylius Slack some time ago. So
in one of Sylius agencies in France.
Yes, I'm looking forward to meet her someday.
By the way, I would never come to Łódź for an Erasmus during COVID. It just shows how much the community and the technology was interesting for her, because I think she didn't really care if it's ugly Polish climate or.
What do you mean? Łódź is wonderful.
I mean, today Łódź is beautiful and it's growing and it's beautiful, absolutely. But
it was already beautiful this 4 years ago.
Yeah, okay.
But then for the Erasmus, usually
you go somewhere where you have some sunny and
parties, and Clemens could party with you guys, nerds.
Good decision.
Let's go to 2022. So that was actually, I think, very, very interesting year, because we organized what we always wanted to organize, the first ever conference dedicated to Sylius, which is Sylius Con. And I think 4th edition is coming up this year, right? We organized the first one in Łódź, in our hometown. There were a lot of discussions where to do it. Should we do it in Paris? Because France is obviously the main country for Sylius business. There is the biggest amount of users there. But we have never organized a conference for the international community. So we wanted to have it like under our control in our city where we know everything. You know, we could easily find a hotel, a venue, and gastronomy, everything that is necessary. And people came. I mean, it was 200 people, which is not big, not small. It's already something. I mean, there are
the first conference.
There are thousands of Sylius users. So you could think, okay, if there are thousands of Sylius users, you could expect, I don't know, at least 1,000 people at the conference. But it wasn't easy. It was just still the pandemic. It was also the first ever event. People had to travel from France, from Germany, Lithuania. I think from 10 to 15 countries we had visitors. And we didn't have to bring any students to make nice photos. We didn't need to, create an artificial crowd. Yeah, I remember it as one of the biggest achievements, I think, in our adventure with Sylius.
Golden Polish Autumn.
Golden Polish Autumn. We had a great weather.
The weather was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of preparation, and
that was one of the things that saved us because the venue was a little bit too small.
After party place was also a little bit too small.
But thanks to that, it was really crowded. So
guys, it was effective. I was counting the budget, right? And we didn't know we didn't know if people are going to come. So I preferred to choose a smaller place. I remember the conversation.
This place was wonderful.
It was wonderful. Yeah, it was just sweet. And big shout out to Aldona, our marketing specialist, who helped me massively. I mean, she basically organized the conference with a little guidance from my side. So if you remember this conference, guys, you have to be grateful to Aldona. What else? It was also a year of our Sylius departure. A little bit sad because during the conference we already had conversations. What's coming next? What's gonna be our next step in the Sylius career? And we decided to launch another company, which is Commerce Weavers. And you can see the birds. As in every episode, we're talking about these birds.
Why don't you have the
I don't,
name of
because it was just one of the first editions of the t-shirt, and I didn't get the.
It's lean t-shirt development.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
exactly. I had the first edition, MVP of the t-shirt. Do you have anything to add to 2022? Any specific memory?
Obviously, the memory about leaving Sylius was
difficult.
It was kind of the hard decision for all of us, obviously. And I think that it's still on an emotional level, this is still something that we keep really deep in our hearts.
Yeah.
But that was a necessary step. And at the end, the result of this step is that we are here and we are recording this video and we are doing great things together, still together. We are still in a Sylius ecosystem. So it was not bad, probably. Even though it was hard, it was not bad.
I'm trying to focus on the highlight of the year, so Sylius Con, the first one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Meeting all these people that I mostly knew from
Slack,
or GitHub.
Definitely, the good thing was that we already knew with each other, within the Sylius core team for years.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that we met, and since the first Sylius Con, we actually meet quite often, with Loic, with Victor,
every year.
Stefan, another Stefan, with
plenty of Stefans.
A lot of people that we knew from
a lot of code,
a lot of people,
with
a lot of people that we knew from Slack. Right now, we can say that some of them are our colleagues, our friends that we knew on maybe not daily basis, that we don't, but every time we met them, it's always the really pleasant meeting. So
absolutely,
that was I really feel that the Sylius Con, the first Sylius Con was for us, even though we already knew that the situation is that we will probably leave Sylius. That was peak. Was from the hype for Sylius on our times. That was the peak for us. And if it's not about the situation, we would be so hyped about that.
And it's a paradox because our departure also solidified the community we had around us. So
it was to some extent maybe necessary step for the whole community. At the end, we can go to the next year, 2023, which means that Sylius has a new ownership, which is making some great investments in the marketing and being present. So to some outside of SyliusCon, there was some plateau of growth for Sylius, and it actually boosted. I guess even for us, I would say even for developers, our departure means that the devs that stayed in the Sylius had to take some different roles. So it was like also breaking the ceiling for them, an opportunity to grow. At the end, of course, it's a harsh memory for me. Yet I think that it was a necessary one and actually played really well for both of us. So I'm grateful for the Commerce Weavers and working still with you. And yet for everything else, like Sylius and the people there, that they had another opportunity to grow because they need to fill the gap.
Absolutely. One person can grow when other departures, and it's always like this. And well, we started the Commerce Weavers in December, just before Christmas, 2022, and in 2020,
22nd of December.
22nd of December, 12
2022.
Too many twos.
Too many twos.
Too many. You know, where there are too many tubes, they change into teeth. Okay, and we rehired the first employees of Commerce Weavers were people that
we already knew.
You were responsible for hiring. Kevin.
Kevin was because we hired Kevin. I think it was on April of 2020.
Yeah, he started from April.
Because we started.
We hired him in December 2021. Like we had a conversation with him. Then there was a quarter of grace period in the previous termination period. And then in April he started.
Effectively, he started
work, but the agreement was from January.
Nobody cares about agreements. We are not lawyers.
That's bold statement.
I mean, everybody cares about agreements, but not in this video, right? Sorry for the punch. Yeah, Kevin started in April because the first quarter were just you guys working your fingers to the bone, delivering. But finally, I think you loved it, right? You could finally work.
That was an amazing experience because for a long time, like for the last 2 or 3 years that we were working in Sylius, we were doing less and less code every year. We're mostly focusing on leadership, on the architectural stuff, on the training sessions, on the consultancy workshops, all of this stuff. We're doing code on a very high level. And then when we started Commerce Weaver, there was like first 3 months when I remember that together with Łukasz, we were just sitting and coding for 3 months. Only coding, and it was an amazing experience. Like I remember that it was still a sad experience of leaving Sylius, but also I was so hyped about just coding for 3 months and didn't have to care about anything else.
All day, all night. We traveled to the Confu for the first time. Yeah. We were coding there without almost any break. So also big shout out for Philip for also trusting in us.
That was a very good thing because we started the company. We were cheating a little bit because we started the company and with the first day we already had the
on the codes as we
we already had the company that wanted to work with us. We already had the customer. Yeah. It was as Łukasz said, shout out for the Philip from Fusonic because they were our first client. Yeah. We are still working together. I remember the conversation because I already had the relation with Philip because I was doing with for Sonic the team coaching, for a year for the last year in Sylius, and I remember that I wrote to him that I would like to make a call because I would like to talk about some things, and I made the call and I said that Philip, sorry for that, but because I will be leaving Sylius at the end of the month. And Philip was like, "Oh, that's very sad, mate. But on the other hand, that's a good thing because we really need some help on our project." And it was like we started with, we need help for 3 months on our project just to boost a little bit our development. And we stayed with them for already over 2 years. So
yeah, we are still collaborating. I think big thank you to all our 3 first customers who wanted to hire us from the day one. All of them are German speaking, so we were happy having customers from abroad. Paying good money in euros, which helped us grow. Thank you very much, guys. It was the benefit of being in the center of the community for years. And I think we can openly say it that we are grateful, and we have benefited a lot from this early stage in the company development.
Early adopters.
Early adopters of Commerce
Weavers.
Weavers. You adopted, great free birds from the very beginning. And Kevin Kaniaburka, our golden boy, as we call him, our first employee who is with us to this date. So as much as we have been enjoying, the developing for customers and finally being on the other side, on the agency side, we also still wanted to be involved in the community, and we are to this date, luckily. And I think we can agree that actually 2023 was the first year where we were you both were so active, in terms of being on the meetups, providing a lot of presentations, evangelizing, right? I think we were missing this part during the COVID era, but also at Sylius, other responsibilities, it was difficult to travel as much. So we could constitute our presence as, still being there in the ecosystem, still providing value, still being in the community. And we also tried to contribute to open source. We even had this monthly open source hackathons, but we kind of realized it's not that easy to contribute when you are not in the
really surprising that
in the core company.
When you have the company that is focusing on making money on the projects, it's not so easy to get some time for the open source contributions. Like, we managed to do some things. Yeah. We managed to contribute to Sylius itself, to Sylius plugins. We managed to create some Sylius plugins by ourselves. So that was a good thing, but definitely we didn't commit it so much into the Sylius as we would like to, right. Because the reality check was that we just need to focus on developing company because it's quite new and we need to extend that.
The reality check was that we were present or organized 30 Sylius related meetups, but it was our main contribution. The code wasn't the contribution anymore, which leads me to 2024, where we made another difficult decision of leaving the core team.
Yeah, so throughout the whole 2024, we still were in the core team, tried to make some decisions, help developers. We also organized the core team meetup, at least once in Poznań, first SyliusCon.
Yeah.
So we tried to be part, but as it was harder and harder, we decided in 2025,
24,
that we will be leaving, and we just stayed with the decision, announcement of the decision till the SyliusCon, which with 2.0 was a great moment to...
That's a good milestone to finish also this chapter in our life and focus more on the company. And we wish all the best for the new Sylius, not Sylius core team, but the Sylius key contributors that are right now focusing on making Sylius great.
All the team that is behind Sylius right now internally.
For you guys, it was like exactly 10 years since you started your Sylius story, right? So it was a great closure.
Many milestones.
Yeah. It just had to be. And here we are in 2025, recording for you, which shows that we are still investing in the, let's say, Sylius overall presence in the web sphere, whatever you can call it. We still want to educate. We still want to be, close to the Sylius core development, even if we are not the core team members anymore. But we want to provide more and more value. So expect more videos from us and other materials educating about Sylius and related stuff like testing, coding, doing e-commerce business, and everything that we know, all the experience that we gathered. And I'm just happy that I participated in this story with you guys. I hope you also like this, and now you understand more about the Sylius in general as a history and the framework and the company behind it and all the businesses, because you could easily get confused. You got Sylius company, you got Commerce Weavers, you got Bitbag. So there are many different companies that were involved in the story, and I hope it's all clear right now. So thank you very much for this second part.
See you in the next episode on Summer in the Conference. We still will be there, so you can still meet us.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful, Tim.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Sometimes I can talk.
Really, really nice monologue. Like, you really summarized it, like the essence.
Meaty essence.
Meaty essence of
or
the...
vegan essence, if
meaty. What's the essence in the meat? In Polish, it's szpik. In English, it's
szpik is
marrow.
Szpik is not in meat.
Fuck, it's in bone.
It's in bone.
So let's say goodbye, okay? It was the Sylius story from Commerce Weavers. Thank you very much, Mateusz, Łukasz, and Tymoteusz. Bye.